We are so happy to welcome Kinlyn Hinson to Making It Grow today. She is the watermelon queen for South Carolina for 2024.
Yes, ma'am. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
And not only are you representing this fabulous crop from South Carolina, but you actually grew up in an agricultural family.
Yes, ma'am. My family farm, Hinson Farms. We are a 6th-generation farm located in the Antioch community in between Camden and Bishopville. And while we do other crops, we also grow corn. So the 2 corn varieties we grow are yellow dent corn and blue hoppy corn, and what we do with that is grind it in our stone grits mill.
Stone grits mill?
Yes, ma'am.
And since that doesn't get so hot, I've been told that means that the flavor remains wonderfully full.
Yes, ma'am. The flavor in the corn does stick just because it is by stone and not by steel.
How about that?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said that right in front of your house, you don't have a traditional lawn. You have a half an acre that gets some unusual treatment.
Yes, ma'am. That half acre right there is very special to us. It's one of the first places that my family actually farmed, and we built our house right behind it. So my grandfather likes that part of our fields to be done completely by hand with a mule.
Huh. And you sometimes have to get in front and tip the mule to get started?
Yes, ma'am. He always wants a sweet treat to just get started.
And you said that you found out that in addition to carrots, he also likes
watermelon.
Well, that's great fun. And then your grandmother has an interesting story too.
Yes, ma'am. She is actually Cherokee Indian, so she grew up on the Cherokee Indian Reservation with her grandmother.
Okay. Now, you've been at Clemson studying, so tell me what it is that you're pursuing.
Yes, ma'am. So really what I'm studying is agricultural education and agribusiness and a little bit of agronomy. And my hope is to come back to our family farm and turn it to a more agritourism place. That way people can come and learn and grow.
And you said that y'all are also doing some experimental work with a type of cotton that would be revolutionary.
Yes, ma'am. So cotton that defoliates itself, that means you don't have to spray it. It'd be a whole lot cheaper and a whole lot easier on the farmers.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I think that's wonderful that you've been at Clemson and been able to tie all this research together.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. Well, let's talk about watermelons. They're not grown much in the area of the state where you are. Where are they primarily grown?
So they're primarily grown in the lower part of the state. You know, going towards the beach, you're always going to see the nice, beautiful watermelon fields out there. So it's just a place to come look and stop and grab you a watermelon. Okay.
And how important are watermelons to South Carolina's economy?
So to our economy, it's a top 10 commodity. So of course you're always going to be looking for a watermelon, especially when it's hot outside.
Yeah. And when do ours typically ripen and come on the market?
Normally mid-June to mid-July.
And I have heard people say that when they're shipped to places far up north, that people really prefer and know that South Carolina watermelons are of a great high quality.
They are, yes, ma'am. Of course, South Carolina watermelons, you can't beat it. They're 92% water and a great hydrator.
And I think that one of the things y'all do every year at the Bridge Run in Charleston, speaking of hydration, is to give people watermelon?
Yes, ma'am. We actually just came from there not too long ago. So, of course, we're going to make sure that everybody there is going to get a nice, delicious treat of watermelon.
Instead of getting a sports drink or something that's full of sugar and all kinds of additives,
oh, yes, ma'am.
Watermelon is the perfect way to refresh yourself.
Yes, ma'am. It is, being that 92% water, and of course you're going to have a lot of lycopene, so that's good for your skin.
Okay, goodness gracious. Well, lots of people just eat a big old slice of watermelon, but you have found that there are lots of other ways to enjoy watermelon. Have you brought a recipe for us?
Yes, ma'am, I did. We're going to make watermelon salsa today.
Ooh, I can't wait.
I know, it's delicious.
Okay, well, let's get started.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So, the first thing we're going to do is just get our finely diced seedless watermelon. So, if you want to hand me our watermelon.
Okay.
And this watermelon here, we have a little bit of the yellow watermelon.
It looks
and
real
then,
pretty.
Of course, we're going to have our normal red watermelon that you normally see.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and dump it into our bowl.
Okay.
The next thing we're going to get is our jalapenos.
Ooh.
So they are going to be seeded, and then we have them diced here.
Okay.
So we're just going to go ahead and dump those in.
Thank you.
And then we are also going to have our cilantro and our red onions, and we put them in the bowl together and went ahead and mixed them up. So they're just chopped really fine.
Okay. So this is going to be very colorful.
Oh, yes, ma'am. They are going to be colorful. So we're just going to make sure we get all of that in there.
All righty.
And then finally, we're going to add our lime juice.
Lime juice. Okay. How much is that? A couple of tablespoons?
Yes, ma'am, just a few.
Okay. And that could be to taste too.
That can be.
Yeah.
And then we are going to mix it all together.
I like that you added the yellow. I think that makes it so much more appealing.
That's
And that's
give
half,
it,
half a food presentation.
It's all about
how
the
it looks.
appeal of the food.
Yeah.
That's what makes you want to eat it.
And isn't it wonderful that we have seedless watermelons, because you couldn't do this if we had to pick all the seeds out.
That would be a terrible job to have. So now that we have it mixed, you can always salt and pepper to taste.
Oh, so you're going to do a little bit of that?
A little bit of both. So just a little bit.
Okay.
And then just a tad bit of salt and pepper.
This is going to be delicious.
It's going to be delicious. And I will stir it again.
Okay.
And there we have our watermelon salsa.
Whoa. And I think you've got some prepared that
Yes,
we can
ma'am. We do have some
actually take
that
a
we can
taste of. Okay. Well, I'm going to get some and see how good a cook you are. Well, Kinlyn, this is just delicious. I'm so glad you brought us a new way to enjoy South Carolina watermelons. And I encourage people, too, to look for the South Carolina watermelons when they come in, because it's such an important way to support agriculture in our state.
Yes, ma'am, it is. Thank you so much for having me, and make sure everybody knows that they can go by and grab a South Carolina watermelon that always leaves a smile behind.
Aw, can't wait till they come in.
Yes, ma'am.